He could have got this award in New York because he was a member of the local. He could have got this award in Los Angeles because he was a member there when he was doing
June 7th. Let me see. June 17th, 1943, 802. LA 53. Peggy Lee got me in without the thing. It was a scandal at the time.
We should have had him on the tariff committee.
Yeah,
Anyway.
and of course 72 and 149. Yeah.
We're lucky because he's here. He's at Toronto Local.
And I'm even luckier.
And he's been living in Toronto since what, the early 70s, isn't it?
72, yeah. I came with Carmen McRae and with Michelle Donato and Jerry Fuller. Came back and went to work. I lived at the Royal York for the lowest fee in the 20th century. I lived there for 6 weeks. Meredith McRae, another McRae, said, "Do you like Toronto?" I said, "Come." I said, "Well, I want to check the town out." She said, "I was living in Laguna Beach." Everybody said, "You came from Laguna Beach to Toronto?"
And this guy, I gotta say, if you want to check out his
well, I brought some of these along,
There you
so I
go.
don't have to tell all the same stories.
yeah, if you want to check
That's
out
me
on
with
the web,
Ellington in '68 here. But Jack Batten has written a wonderful book, actually right in my voice. So we're going to do an audio version too. But Jack did a wonderful job. You all know Jack Batten, a wonderful writer. Yeah. So we sat down for about a year and a half, and we got that done. But the next move is an audio book of it, I think. But in the meantime, it's a free download. It's for free.
It's well worth reading. Okay, it's an incredible read. But before you start, I'd like to present you with your plaque and your Lifetime Achievement pin.
Well,
which,
thank you.
I'm sure you'll wear. And
Now, on behalf of Neil Swainson, one of the great bass players of all time, I've been told to give his best regards to all of you. He is, needless to say, a good friend of mine and one of the best bass players I ever played with in my life.
Indeed.
Great man. Anyway, that's from Neil to all of you. But this is wonderful, man. I will put this up right next to Dizzy Gillespie on the
Gene's
wall.
birthday.
Hey! You didn't know that? I'm talking about 43 now. All of a sudden, you're hanging out with the New York Jazz Quartet, like Danny Bank on baritone, Ray Beckins. Danny Bank, one of his students, did a discography. He came up with 9,000 records. Danny Bank. He was paraplegic. He carried everything from piccolo to bass saxophone. Carried these things in and out of studios. 9,000 records. The guy says, "I quit." 9,000 records, These are the guys I hung with in New York. That was the original New York Saxophone Quartet. Gene Orloff, who was the greatest violinist he was #1 in New York for 40 years. If some of you have my Scandinavian suite, or I'll give you one whenever I see you, because Gene Orloff was one of the great violinists of that period. The great Julius Baker is on it. Where are the woodwind players here? Huh? You know who Julius Baker was? Julius Baker was the greatest flute player that ever lived. He's on that. This is the guys I get to hung with after Dizzy Gillespie and Charlie Parker. That's where it started on 52nd Street. I used to hang out. I don't know why they let me in. Well, I was supposed to, Bobby Tucker, who was Billie Holiday's original piano player, who I love dearly. He says, "If I knew you were that young, I would have called the truant officer on you, because I would go in and hang out. And that's how we used to get to play. He said, "Come up here." Nat Jaffe was another piano player from Brooklyn, an older guy. Dizzy said, "Sit down and play." That's how I started on 52nd Street. The first time I heard him, I was playing with Charlie Parker. Love would come back to me. 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4. And he came around the corner. Actually, it was all the things you are that he played. He came around the corner. First time I'd seen him or known him or who he was, he had just arrived in New York. Miles Davis was standing in a corner holding his head. "How do you guys play like that? Whoa, whoa." I remember Max Roach's bass drum, the foot pedal came loose, you know. Miles got down on his knees underneath and fixed it. 10 years later, he wouldn't have paid a dime to see the Statue of Liberty dance. The nicest kid you ever met turned into a monster. But a sweet boy for 10 years. He was a beautiful man. Of course, he always played beautiful. Would Gil Evans, how could you not play good? What else you want to, any questions? Where do you want to go? Frank Zappa was a good musician, man. There's all the LA Philharmonic would be there. Well, Frank Zappa, the great Victor Feldman, if you don't know who Victor Feldman was, look him up. He played all the percussion instrument, was a great pianist, the best drummer I ever played with. He and Emil Richards used to have a big suitcase, and they'd come and this is how we would do gigs with them. What do you want, a water gong? Yeah, we can get a water gong out, and they'd pull it out and do it, you know. And anyway, they were all in London, and they went to the club, Feldman's, and Mr. Feldman came over to Mel Powell. He said, do you mind if my son sits in with you guys? You guys, Bernie Priven, Nat Peck, Mel Powell, Maurice Pertel, all the guys in that Miller Band in the Army. And of course, Mel rolls his eyes. Oh, you go, oh, we got to play with this kid now, you know. Victor sits down at the age of 10 years old and swings them into bad health. They couldn't believe what they heard. This little 10-year-old Jewish kid, you know. Anyway, that's enough for the 50s. The rest of it is in there. You know.
Thank you very much.
Like Brahms once said, if I offended anybody, I'll be back. You know?